Hello ladies, gentlemen, and persons in between. My name is Tim Snowborn, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new season of Mystery Science Theater 3000 on this episode of Not So Serious Issues. I'd like to begin by establishing my credentials. I have been a Misty for more than half of my life now. I was introduced to the show in my late teens or early 20s by, I believe, my older sister. I've seen every episode of the show at least once, including Season 0. Never really liked Season 0 or Season 1. I just couldn't get used to how different the robots looked and how different their voices sounded. I have Bill Corbett's autograph, I have Kevin Murphy's autograph, I have Frank Conniff's autograph. I've been to most of the Riff Tracks live shows, including the one they did in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, where they did Sharknado. It was funny. They had these inflated sharks floating around the theater, and after the show they gave them away to the fans. A couple of my friends got one, and somebody else got one and let it go outside, accidentally, I'm pretty sure. They let their shark go and it floated up in the air, and it was cloudy that day, so it looked like there was a shark flying around in a Sharknado in the sky. It was funny. I am cosplaying as Mike at my next NerdCon. That is how much of a fan of the show I am. So, after being thrilled to hear about the new series more than a year in advance, and after giving over $100 to the Kickstarter campaign, what did I think of the new series? Hated it. I'm kidding, of course. I would give the new series a solid 4 stars out of 10. Yep, I'm disappointed, guys. Disappointed! I mean, it's not that I didn't like it at all. I just didn't like it as much as I expected to. My expectations were up here. I heard about all the new talent that's on the show. There's supposed to be people from Adventure Time are on the show, people from Rick and Morty on the show. I love Patton Oswalt. I thought with all this new talent, it's got to be at least as good as the old show, right? And it wasn't really. I didn't really get into the Mads. I mean, I love Patton Oswalt. I'm indifferent to Felicia Day. I didn't feel like the Mads got enough character development. I mean, there was some character development between them, but maybe if I rewatch the 3 or 4 episodes that I actually liked, it'll grow on me. I mean, the whole thing where Son of TV's Frank had a crush on Kanga, I guess that's character development. It sort of made them interesting. I didn't like that it felt like most of the host segments were over in a minute, and not because they were just that entertaining. They were literally come out, tell a quick joke, and go back in the theater. In the old show, they took their time with the host segments. They showed some love and care in those things. They really put some effort into them. And why are they breaking for commercial? It's on Netflix. I mean, even if they're anticipating syndication, first of all, has any Netflix series been syndicated yet? And second, the old show broke for commercials, but they didn't call attention to it the way they have, Patton Oswalt giving the voiceovers. Why? The old show would just have the moon logo up there and have the music going, and that was all they needed. The cameos, I mean, I'm not against cameos. It's kind of cool that they got people on there, but they felt so pointed to and inorganic, so conspicuous, I guess is the word I'm looking for. If you're going to have cameos, have them appear in kind of a port window off to the side like they did in the old show. In the old show, they would have a couple extra people on once in a while, but they would sort of transition it by, they'd be in a kind of a little window over here, or they got that screen that drops down. You could first show them in the screen that drops down, then show them on their ship, but just going from the bridge to the ship was not very smooth. Actually, the best thing they could do for cameos is to somehow find a way to bring them into the theater and have them riff along with the guys. That would be great. Riff Tracks has had a number of guest riffers on the show. MST3K should start bringing new people into the theater. I didn't like the way they kept pointing to the fact that it was a show now. But the main course is obviously the riffs. Were the riffs any good? And I didn't think they really were. I just think Jonah and those other guys are just not that funny. It's not that they were offensive, they just didn't make me laugh as much as I hoped. For every joke that made me laugh out loud, there were at least a couple of dozen that didn't even crack a smile. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 episodes were any good, and I can't even remember which ones they were. I gave up around the time of Knights of the Lost, I don't even care. There weren't any shorts in this season at all. I mean, I know part of the reason they used shorts before was because they had a 2-hour time block to fill and not all the movies they ripped were exactly the right amount of time. Just because you don't have to deal with the 2-hour time block anymore doesn't mean you can't use shorts. If the show keeps going, they should have at least 1 episode per season that is just shorts. Just short host segment, short host segment, short host segment. The social media references also felt inorganic. I mean, I guess I can't expect them to not make that. I don't know how you could make those smooth. And social media wasn't even a thing back when the old show was on. It somehow came off as one of those shows or movies that just makes cultural references for the sake of making them, but they didn't make them in a way that felt organic and natural for some reason. The old show was very hit and miss. Some riffs fell flat, some were great. Some episodes fell flat, some were great. But on the whole, there were enough good riffs and good episodes in the old show to make me a big enough fan to wear this suit. On the new series, not so much. There were more misses than hits in the new series, I felt. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the new series. The whole thing about Kanga wanting to marry Jonah, I don't know. I mean, it's okay, I guess. I don't know what was the point of kidnapping Jonah at the beginning of every episode to make him reenact the intro. Not too sure about the cliffhanger at the end of the last episode where they sort of whisked Jonah away and left it hanging whether he was going to be back or not. They better not bring in a new host every season from now on if the show keeps going. Just stick with one guy for a while. Let me get used to Jonah and maybe the show will grow on me. I'm not the sort of person who's against reboots or sequels right out of the gate. I totally give those things a chance. And I gave this show a chance for 14 episodes, and it didn't win me over. But if I can remember the 3 or 4 episodes that I liked, maybe I'll watch it again, and maybe the show will grow on me. Maybe they just haven't hit their stride yet. If they get a season 12, I'll probably watch it because I do want the show to succeed. I do. I want it to get better. But so far, The Riff Tracks live episode of Samurai Cop was a little over a month ago, and that one show was superior to any episode in season 11. I know it's not a competition, but I'm on Team Riff Tracks. I like that Crow's voice sounds pretty much the same. I don't mind that Servo's voice sounds a little different. I do mind that Gypsy's voice sounds way different. I named my cat after Gypsy, and I'm not a fan of the new voice. I like the old doofy voice. And speaking of voices, where's Magic Voice? What happened to that? They had a Korean kaiju movie and didn't make a single Gangnam Style reference. As long as they're making pop culture references, how are you going to have a Korean kaiju movie and not make a single Gangnam Style reference? I miss the old outro music. I mean, I guess I like that they've taken a couple of songs from the old series and made them into sort of riff tones. What they should do is play the old outro music first, then go to the newer music that they've made out of the old songs. So yeah, I tried to like it, guys. I mean, I wish I liked it as much as most of you apparently do. I wish I was where you are. Loving the show, but, you know, all this great new talent on the show, and it still was weak sauce to me. Alright, so let me know in the comments section below what you think. Berate me for being a bad person for shitting on your childhood. Feel free to riff this episode if you like. If you enjoyed the new season, hit like. If you agreed with my opinion, hit subscribe. If you know anybody who agreed with my opinion, hit share. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode, folks. See you somewhere in time and space.